Very curious to hear your thoughts on this development out of South Korea and whether you think this is going to kick off a wave of regulatory crackdowns on these app stores.
Well, good morning, Julia. Thanks for having me on. I think this is interesting in the sense that every jurisdiction is trying to grapple with this issue, with the issue being the market power of some of these online marketplaces. And you've had legislation introduced here in the United States. Korea just seems to be the first to really act on this, and treating the App Store and the Google Play Store as almost like a common carrier, and saying that you cannot discriminate. You should allow for others' payment systems. And you have Russia, you have Australia, Canada. Everybody is trying to grapple with what the actual solution is. And here we have a legislative solution rather than some kind of a negotiated solution by the parties.
Well, I'm curious for you to put your regulator hat back on and look broadly at this issue of big tech. What do you see as the risk to consumers being right now, and what do you think the appropriate remedies would be?
The risk to consumers right now is that you basically have two gatekeepers, and that's Google and Apple through their App Store. Now, it may or may not be a violation of the antitrust laws. They have built it, but it doesn't mean that it is not a broader public policy concern, both from a competition standpoint, allowing consumers to benefit from different app developers, different content providers being on those two platforms. And that is the challenge that everybody has been trying to address. Now, there is no uniform standard globally for antitrust, for even the violation, let alone what the remedy should be. So whether or not these will be addressed through antitrust laws and law enforcement, or prescribed through regulation like the European Union is doing, or cracked down through legislation. And I think all three of those will be on the menu. And I think the companies will probably face solutions in different parts of the world, depending on the form of government, to address the market power.
Which sounds like a nightmare. Making it interesting, you mentioned common carrier, and it strikes me that this is maybe an effort to turn app stores into utilities, almost like electric utilities, or complete with rate cases and all kinds of other government interventions into how they can do business. But is there danger there, especially given that very few people love their electric utility, or even, dare I say it, their cable company, but people do love Apple and Google and Amazon, and if you mess with them in governments around the world in the wrong way, might you kill the goose that lays the golden egg?
Well, there's no question that all three of these companies have brought innovations and conveniences to consumers. I mean, we just saw through the pandemic, we have gone through how Amazon delivers for most consumers many of the goods, including your last segment talking about toilet papers coming home. But it is an absolute nightmare when government steps in to prescribe business rules. And we have done that in the United States when the old Ma Bell was broken down and the local phone systems became common carriers, and you had different telecommunications acts until you had some deregulation in 1996. But that's the direction it seems like it is going.